What's up everyone, this is Q from RetroQ Gaming, and in this video we're going to have a quick look at Resident Evil 5 while I'm doing my thing. Anyway, the purpose of this video is when I was going to set all this stuff up, and it came up numerous times in the past, I'd always get a lot of questions about my hardware and some about the software as well, but mostly about the hardware. So in this one we're going to look at the current rig I'm using and the current software and recording setup I'm using as well. So I built this computer in 2012, end-ish of 2012. I built it throughout the year, and at the time it was complete top of the line. So we'll start with CPU. I have a second generation Intel i7 2600K. It's running at stock clocks at the moment because, frankly I haven't found a need to overclock it at all, because the i7s just overclock so well that when I do decide to overclock it, it's just going to be gorgeous. That's all I can say really. Other than that, I'm using, I don't remember the exact model number of the board, but I have an ASRock LGA 1155 motherboard. Now it's a pretty high-end motherboard. It's got dual PCIe 3.0 slots, both running at 16x. Not that that really makes much of a difference anymore, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It supports up to 32 gig RAM, blah blah blah. So that's that part of it covered anyway. Next up is the RAM. I'm running 32 gig of Corsair Vengeance DDR3, I think 1600 megahertz RAM. It's 4 banks, so it's 8 gig per stick. The price difference when I bought it between the 16 gig and the 32 gig pack was negligible, even though I figured I'd never probably use it, but I was kind of wrong. I've only ever gone over 16 gig once or twice because it's all Photoshop stuff. The video editing isn't too bad on the actual RAM anyway because of the software I have. So that's the RAM covered as well. Video card. I have an Asus GTX 690. It's a 4 gig model. It's because it's 690, it's dual GPU, which is two 680s basically. And this thing still beasts almost every game, even nowadays. So, I've no problems with this card. I mean, okay, yeah, if I was to build a new one today or something, I'd go for some 980s or hold out for 990 or, see what's coming up with the new series sometime soon. But that's neither here nor there. This pretty much beasts everything. MSAA turned up full. The only thing it might struggle a little bit is with anything that's super sampling, like super sampling, anti-aliasing, anything like that, it gives me a bit of an issue with. But like games, I can play up max with super sampling off. I can play it with 8x MSAA, high TXAA, whatever I want, and I'll get max settings, minimum solid 60 frames per second. Otherwise, there's issues. That's pretty much it from the... Oh, actually, sorry. I'm using Shadowplay to record my footage because with the compression rate on Shadowplay, it's just... It looks fantastic. Even it's coming at I have it set to, it's a 60 MB stream rate, 1080p, 60 frames per second. My monitor is actually 1440p. But if I set Shadowplay to 1440p, it's limited to 30 frames a second, and I'd rather have the extra frames per second. I mean, most people don't have above 1080p monitors, so most people are used to 1080p, so that's pretty much why I have it recorded on that. Extra hardware-wise, I have my microphone, which is a Blue Yeti 2 Silver Series. I got it recently. It's a fantastic microphone. I love it. The amount of customization in it is more than I thought that could actually happen in a microphone. It's got all different types of modes. The clarity and quality is brilliant, despite what my stupid Irish accent might make it sound. It works. It's just USB, so I have Windows 7 Ultimate 64-bit, so it just, it's plug and play at this point, and you still get all the good features, all the good stuff from it, so that just worked out perfectly. Like I said, I'm using Shadowplay to record the footage. For other stuff, other video editing, I have the Sony Pro Movie Studio 13. It comes with a couple of different programs in there. You've got SoundForge, which I use if I'm going to record audio and video separately. I'll record the video with Shadowplay, and then I'll record the audio with SoundForge. Obviously using the Blue Yeti and all that, so that's not the issue. I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything covered anyway. I know I was having a little bit of an issue with YouTube recognizing my videos, because some of the videos I've recorded it with Shadowplay at 60 frames a second, and once I did some processing and editing and all that kind of stuff, even though I'd set it to finish encoding at 60 frames a second in, say, the Sony Movie Studio, it would still show as 60 frames a second, but it would actually show up as the US standard of 59.994 or 50, something like that. And because of that, YouTube wouldn't recognize it as 60 frames a second, and it would automatically downscale it to 30 frames a second. So one or two of the videos I might have up already will show up like that. One or two of the videos I am uploading either shortly after this video or shortly before or at the same time might suffer the same fate. This one probably won't, because this one I'm actually using Shadowplay to record the audio as well. I wanted to see if this would kind of get around it. So again, if that happens, I apologize, and I'm going to change how my recording setup and all to give everyone watching my channel the best experience at the end of the day in the channel. So that's pretty much everything here anyway. I did it just to, people were asking me what kind of setup I had, what kind of setup I'd be using. So that's pretty much everything there covered anyway. It'll become a bit more apparent in like one or two videos from now, when I actually have it's kind of a question. I could draw it in now, but I'm going to actually make another video for it and explain it a bit better in there. And it'll cover why, because that's a question for another video. Okay, so once again, this is Q from Retro Q Gaming. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Leave a comment down below on hardware recommendations, hardware comments, software, blah blah blah, anything like that, recommendations, questions, all that kind of stuff. Feel free to like, subscribe, favorite, leave a comment, all that stuff. You do me and yourself a big favor, and thanks for tuning in.